This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week. So you're probably here backstage at Rutland Musical Theatre's rehearsals for What I Did for Love, which is at Uppingham Theatre, the first Saturday and Sunday of December. I'm here with writer John McMillan, who's also the RMT treasurer, who's also in this, who wrote last year's and this year's, and basically this is a continuation of what you did last year in terms of the story.
Yes, it is. The story does continue, but you don't need to have seen last year's show in order to enjoy this year's show, I don't think.
So tell us the broad plot without giving anything away.
Well,
this is a love story.
It's a love story. It's a Christmas romance of a girl who firstly wants the boyfriend to pursue his dreams of make it in musical theatre. So she refuses his proposal of marriage, but as you might imagine, Rob, with it being musical theatre, it kind of comes all right in the end.
Of course it does, absolutely. But I mean, basically, this is a fundraiser for the society.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Lots of societies do concerts, which is a brilliant thing. This is a concert that's has a story wrapping around it.
Yeah, it's got a full script. It's got some great big West End hits. It's got a few pop songs that I think most people will know, weaved into an overall plot, ending with a happy ending at Christmas and a few Christmas sing-song medleys at the end.
Rutland Radio.
Well, we're here at Stamford Garden Centre with Adam Frost. Last time we actually met when we did the Dig It Lives and stuff. You've done an amazing amount of stuff. You've been around the world. You're on TV every week in people's houses now.
Yeah, it's been a slightly mad, 12 months, I suppose, 12, 18 months. Singapore, Japan, then Chelsea filming, and then Gardener's World, which has been, mind-blowing, I suppose.
The incredible thing, of course, recently you were on TV talking about Jeff Hamilton, who you started work for in your teenage years, and now you're bringing your garden into people's homes just the same way that he did.
You know, I knew it wasn't going to take you long to bring that up.
Well, no, because it's, it is, everything goes around, comes around, yeah.
And you start talking about it and I get goosebumps. It was amazing to go back there and for me to be asked to do the 20 years and then interview Nick in the garden and then walk around the garden and then sit there on a Friday night and watch it. It rolls up and it says Monty Don and presenter Adam Frost. It's special, isn't it? You know, I wouldn't have thought in my wildest dreams. Those years when I used to work for Jeff and set up, the man was awesome. So he'd go away, you could hear him talking, he'd come to camera and go bang, and it would be amazing. You think, how'd you do that? You know? And then all of a sudden you're doing it. And I've had a lot of people say to me, he would have been incredibly proud of you, you know. I went to an awards do this week, and Roy Lancaster, who is a hero of mine, was a great friend of Jeff Plantsman, he stopped me in the lobby just about we were going in and actually made me cry, which was wonderful. He just said, you know, the old boy would have been so proud of you and, you know, keep it up. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Tell us what's in the book you've got here, Real Gardens. Your first gardening book. You could have done a series of these, couldn't you?
I could, yeah. It's about those 7 Chelsea gold medals, really, and why we did them, why I started sort of in design, how I design. People don't know about our first Chelsea garden. Actually, I self-financed. I built the National Rose Garden at St Albans, which was a massive project, and I had a retention on it, so they held back about £18,000. And I somehow managed to convince Selina, my wife, that we would spend the £18,000 on the Chelsea garden. Bear in mind, we didn't actually have 18 quid at the time. And she did, and that got gold, and then it slowly sort of started rolling, and 7 medals later, and I just felt that I wanted to tell that story, really. And more than anything, just the kids, a bit of social history from my kids, if nothing else.
And you don't necessarily get that money back, but it is an investment in the kind of work that you do, getting you noticed, and obviously getting people to see your work as well.
What people don't realise about Chelsea is, all right, it comes on every year and 12 million people watch it on the telly, but it gets to 130 million people worldwide. So as a garden designer, I suppose in our industry it's the closest thing you're going to have to like a Michelin star. So me travelling around the world is purely on the back of people meeting me from Chelsea. So any garden designer that wants a career, anything like mine, then go to Chelsea, if you're brave enough.
Well, you're looking at me now like you can't believe it's happened.
I can't actually. I suppose if I'm really honest, I'm pinching myself. I've found it, though it's been probably the most amazing 12, 18 months, it's probably been one of the most difficult. I said to you before we started this, I did not think that me being filmed on a Friday night in my garden would have any effect on anybody, and it's blown me away, actually, the people's reaction. I mean, locally it's been unbelievable. People know who I am, but it's been nationally. Getting onto an aeroplane and all of a sudden, an air hostess comes up because she's been watching you on the telly, and I was in Ireland a couple of weeks ago and somebody stops me in a queue, and you realise that Gardener's Well's 50 years old and it's got an amazing following, hasn't it? But yeah, you're right, I can't believe it.
Adam Frost, thanks very much for joining us on Rutland Radio. What's your immediate plan then? Obviously, more Gardener's World.
Get through to Christmas first, pal.
That's everyone's plan at this time of year.
Exactly, yeah. Enjoy a little break, and then next year, really, I want to set school up, gardening school, and then, hopefully more Gardener's World and more gardens.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Unfortunately, Christmas for some could mean even more isolation and loneliness. For example, a lady, when I first started, who told me that whatever the weather, she would try and walk out to the library in Oakham. She could just manage those few steps. She would sit there all day in the hope that somebody would talk to her. And a good day was the fact that somebody would stop and say hello. But if you were like me and most people, you presume she was waiting for someone, you wouldn't give her a thought and you just carry on. So while Christmas, we were looking forward to it, spending it with family and friends, for so many people in Rutland, it's actually totally the reverse. 21% of all those living in Rutland are over 65. If you compare that to Leicester, 11%, that's a huge difference. 2,000 older people living in their own homes. And what I need today is not people's money, but a far more valuable commodity, their time. That's where you would give up an hour a week to go and visit someone. And these people have got fantastic stories. I met two, they were both at Bletchley Park. Last week I met a lady who worked for SOD in London and she helped the resistance. I had a blind man in Ketton, and he had more medals on his wall than anyone I've ever met. These people, their stories are fantastic, and all they want really is someone who's got the time to sit down and spend an hour a week. Doesn't matter if you're a lorry driver, you work in the shop, you're Rob Pisani. Everyone could give up that 1 hour just to visit a person, and we match them up. People think, well, can I not go on holiday? I'm stuck. Oh, what happens if I'm ill?
Yeah, absolutely. Is it like, does it have to be the same time each week and stuff?
Not at all. It's like a friend. It's if you're feeling bad, you just give them a call. I can't make it. I'm off on a cruise. I'll send you a card. But it's better they've got that little bit, and establishing a friendship. We try and match it. So, for example, if it's a primary school teacher with somebody who did something similar. There's a lady in Oakham now, and I visited her 2 days ago, and this was the worst. She said to me, she's living in Borough time. Dr. Pearson said she had 6 months to live 9 months ago. And all she wants is for somebody to sit down and have a chat. And when I said, do you mind who, whatever? No, she said, it was just so nice that you visited. All I wanted was somebody to talk to.
Highlights from the past 7 days. The Rutland Radio podcast.
Thank you, David. Well, it's the Haringworth Christmas Bazaar today. I'm just standing outside a beautiful church here, and it's been packed with stalls, with people. I'm here with Philippa Gasson, who's part of the committee who put this all together. Now, people don't really realise why these events happen, other than obviously to celebrate Christmas.
Yes, a village like ours, we have to support the church and the village hall at an absolute minimum, and each requires such maintenance, insurance cost and other things that without this fundraising we wouldn't have these facilities.
And the raffle that I drew, the hampers were enormous.
Yes, and absolutely amazing hampers this year. We had a basket that in fact had just walked past us now, you could hardly carry it, and that is entirely down to the generosity of all the people in the village. And we are only just under 100 houses, and the support in this village is just unbelievable.
Now, the viaduct and Maiden Haringworth are two really big things for the village, one of which has been here a long time, and Maiden Haringworth's a relatively new thing.
Yes, the viaduct is an iconic part of this whole area, actually. I mean, anyone who lives in the Welland Valley knows it, and it does, and it draws people. There are always people who take photographs and come. Of course, this summer we had the Flying Scotsman go over. The Maiden Haringworth is something fairly new that we all love cooking in this village, and we have abundance of apples and different things. So the Maiden Haringworth is, instead of just having a cake stall, we have made homemade chutneys and preserves, and even had gentlemen brought in honey today whose bees are up at the airfield.
Yes, I saw Laxton honey just on the jar there.
So the actual bees are at the airfield at Spanhoe, but we understand they do fly over to this very special meadow that's at the other side of the viaduct, which is, I think, one of the only examples of a floodplain meadow in the whole country. and that is rather special. And the honey, I have to tell you, I have tasted it, is simply delicious. So we do that, and all of that is providing support for the village. And an event like this, it is down to everybody pulling together and everyone working, as a big team, and we absolutely love it. And thank you for everyone who has visited.
And talking actually of the floodplain, the winning photo today was the viaduct in the flood, which we see so much in the winter.
Yes, we have now used social media quite a lot in this area to try and promote it, and so the last couple of days we've been running a competition, and there is something about the viaduct when we do have floods here. People always panic when we do have floods, but it is a floodplain, hence why we have the viaduct. And yes, congratulations to, I think it's Sam is his name. We'll be writing out on social media later this afternoon to thank everyone who entered, and to his, yes, the reflection made it, and you could see in the water the reflection there. So thank you for him. We are going to run more competitions like that, so do keep an eye out for them.
Philippa Gaston of Harringworth, thanks very much for joining us here at the Christmas Bazaar today.
Thank you, and happy Christmas to everybody.
Rutland Radio.
So Logan, today is the big day then.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed having long hair as a boy?
No.
Really? Have you actually grown it for this reason then?
Yeah. So, really, I've done it for children with cancer because my Uncle Brian died from it, so I just wanted to do it in his memory of it. So, yeah, and at the moment we've raised £860 so far, but half of it's going to my sailing club, so they can get new equipment.
That's Rutland Sailability, yeah.
Yep. And then the other half is going to Rainbow's Hospice and Loughborough. So after that, because Rainbows and Loughborough, I'm going to get them stuff, so they've sent me a list. And so we've got lots of things, and we've had lots of donations and everything. So we've got loads of stuff like table football games and.
So you bought loads of stuff for the children to enjoy, basically.
Yeah, because I thought so for the children and the family. So I just want to do something because. For the children and family. Do you know why? It's because the children who are poorly, they can have more games to play with, including their family, because usually at hospitals, only the children who are a bit poorly go, like play, but with the other children it's probably a bit upsetting for them because they can see their brother or sister in hospital. So to do something what they can all do is to play games and be happy whilst they're just being in hospital. So it just takes their minds off things.
I guess you know as well, don't you? Because sometimes you're a bit poorly and you have to go into hospital, so you know what it's like.
Yeah. So I just think it's a good idea to do, and at the moment at my sailing club, we need a bit of a new equipment because it's been a bit hard for them because they need new equipment because there's more people coming in, but now it's winter, we've stopped sailing. So after it's winter and it's the new year and everything, sailing will be starting again. So everyone's going to be very happy about it. So there's loads of people who come. There's like people with different disabilities. So like anything can be possible really. And as well, I've got friends who people probably don't know at my school or anything. But that doesn't mean, because they look probably ordinary on the outside, it doesn't mean they're poorly on the inside. And like, I've got friends who are in wheelchairs and everything. So I think that they should have something because probably, usually, all the children and people and adults who are in wheelchairs, they can't really do anything, but for their families it would be really upsetting. So if they go to where the people who go sailing club with me who are disabled, well, they want to do something, and that will help them with their motor skills and everything. But
because when they go on the water, it all becomes kind of equal, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they can go out in a wheelchair, be lowered in, and off they go.
So people have special seats to go with it and everything because of different things what's wrong with them. So like my friend, one of my friends has to have a really special seat because she needs to have a special seat, so then she's sitting up properly and everything. So when she's out on the water, she loves it, and quite a few times that we've been like bumping into each other and everything. So everyone at the sailing club is really happy and everything, and anyone can come. So yeah.
How old are you, Logan?
9.
A lot of 9-year-olds would be thinking what they'd want for Christmas. Why are you giving so much to so many people?
Because some people have done a lot for me, I just want to give something back. So, because, like, people are in hospital and everything, that doesn't mean that they can not have a nice Christmas. Because everyone deserves a nice Christmas. So, like, when we're helping the homeless people, we've got a guy who's now housed, and we've got loads of stuff for him. So he's got something wrong with him because he was in the forces and everything. So like when he hears loud bangs, he thinks it's a bomb. So he flinches, and then he has to turn on the TV loud and shut the curtains because he hates firework night and everything. But it isn't his fault really, because he's got that thing wrong with him. So it isn't anyone's fault, is it?
It's not anyone's fault, no, absolutely. So, when you, what time are you getting your hair all cut off, and is it really coming off, all of it?
Not all of it, but most of it. Because, so like, I'm gonna have a number 1 all round my head, so that's quite short. And then
it's about as short as it goes without shaving it all off, isn't it?
Yeah, and then on top I'll have a bit of hair, and there'll be like a small Mohican, and then so we'll be having that, and it's on 3:30 today.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio, and well done. I mean, £860. How does that make you feel?
Very happy. So loads of people can have fun stuff to play with too. And the people at Rutland Sailing Club, they've got new things to do and everything.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Well, first of all, Mary, this is your 3rd time here supporting the NSPCC in its 10-year history. And, you know, in that time since you were last here, something happened called the Bake Off.
That's right. It certainly did. And it's got everybody baking.
It's really quite a phenomenon, isn't it? Because actually, Planet Earth 2, David Attenborough, is the second most watched TV programme of the year. Bake Off is the most watched TV programme.
I think it's because it's a family show, and people, you know, don't sit round for Sunday lunch anymore, but they all sit round to watch the Bake Off, and I think they really enjoy it.
Can I ask you about Christmas and what it means to you?
Well, for me, the most important thing is that it's Christ's birth. And, of course, it should be celebrated. And it's lovely to get all the families together. And I think for everybody, it's an excuse to see everybody and get together and have a glorious meal. And come to a beautiful church like this one. I've never seen it look so glorious. It's decked out in red and green and silver, and it looks. And as I came in, the bells were ringing. I hope you've recorded that.
And the NSPCC as a charity, this concert over its 10-year history has raised thousands, and you've obviously been a part of that.
Yes, the NSPC is a children's charity, and they do need to be looked after. Not all children are as fortunate as ours.
And can I ask you about your future TV work? It seems as though everything is up in the air. Are you able to say anything about your next project?
I'm going to do a project on British country houses, and sort of behind the scenes. And I'm also doing my normal cooking program, and the program on country houses will be on BBC One, sort of mid-evening, which is just what I'd like it to be.
Very, very. I know we're just about to start tonight, as we've just heard, as the Foresters Brass Band have just started, but thank you very much for coming along up again to Oakham.
Rutland Radio.
We were handed a couple of cardboard cartons each and essentially a large polythene bag, and we'd been instructed to take some tape so we could tape the two boxes together, which we did, and then put the boxes inside the bag for a bit of waterproofing. So really quite sanitised compared to what people sleeping on the streets of London are putting up with. We were very lucky with the weather last night. It was a bit cold and we had some rain, but not too much. So we all survived it. We were entertained until round about midnight by DJs, musicians, spoken word poets, comedians, and Boris Johnson and Russell Brand put in an appearance as well. And we were treated to some interviews with people who the charity have helped, including a lady by the name of Lucy, who 10 years ago was living in a detached house, and then she had her third child and suffered some serious postnatal depression. As a result of that, she found herself on the streets, and Trinity Housing Projects, the charity that organised this whole event, helped her to the extent that she just graduated with a master's degree in psychology. So brilliant story, and this is all because of the charity that we were raising funds for last night.
Well, indeed. I mean, what really inspired you to get involved then in this?
Rob, my wife, and I travelled down to London quite a bit. Her son Chris, who was there with us last night, lives in London, and every time we go there, or indeed to Leicester as well, we always see lots of people, young people particularly, but people of all ages, sleeping rough on the streets, and it's heartbreaking. So we just decided that we had to do something about it.
And if people would like to support the charity that you're talking about this morning, you have got a Just Giving page, haven't you?
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's Just Giving. It's called Lee Whitmore Family Against Homelessness. And that Just Giving page will be live for about 3 months. So any donations would be absolutely really welcomed. And all of the money goes directly to the charity and directly to the people on the streets.
How would you sum up the experience for you in a nutshell?
Very moving. As I say, it was a sanitised version, but to think that 3,500 people every night are sleeping on the streets in this country is really quite horrifying. It just makes me feel so absolutely lucky that I only had to do that one night, and I had a cardboard box as well. So very moving, Rob. We all probably will do it again next year.
Yes, the 9th national event, isn't it? And Jules Lee, thanks
right.
very much for joining us on Rutland Radio. Well done to you, to Carol,
Thank
and
you.
to Chris for supporting the cause. And certainly it's the time to think of others, isn't it, as we head towards Christmas?
Indeed it is,
And
yeah.
thinking of 3,500 people or so that actually don't have anywhere to go each night is just incredible, isn't it?
It's awful, yeah. But whatever we can do, and anybody who wants to donate, please do. Even a couple of quid would be just have a little. It will go a long way.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
My name's Elizabeth Belsey, and I do the PR and the treasurer for the Cottesmore Military Wives Choir.
And you're one of the younger choirs, aren't you, in terms of how long you've been going?
Yes, we set up, Joe and I got together in the summer 2.5 years ago, and obviously that's when it all started back at the very beginning, and we've been going from strength to strength since 27 months now.
You could be appearing on the Christmas #1 single. How does that feel?
proud to be part of the Military Wives Choir, proud to be one of the founding members of Cottesmore Military Wives Choir, and just proud of all the girls within the choir because they've really shone through.
So tell us how this song was put together.
It was put together by the foundation, and obviously they put it out to all the choirs, and then we all got together at lots of different locations around the world, and obviously it was all cut together to make the final outcome, Home for Christmas.
Now, obviously, people will know the melody Hark the Herald Angels sing, so it's a traditional carol with, I suppose, a new message, but a traditional message at the same time.
Yes, it is a traditional song, but the message is obviously for all the service personnel that are not home for Christmas to say that we've not forgotten you. They're still in our hearts, and we wish they were here with us, which we've all gone through having, whether it's been fathers, sons, brothers, they're all part of our family, whether it's best friends, the wider community within the forces. Family isn't always blood.
We know that, the conflicts go on around the world, operations do go on as well. That must be the most difficult thing, really, being in a military family at Christmas.
Yes, through personal experience of 20 plus years for myself and for all the ladies that are in the choir at the moment. The majority here on base are at home, but not to say there isn't the odd individual that's gone out themselves overseas. So obviously, we're thinking of them at this time.
Being part of the choir is more than the actual singing, isn't it?
Yes, it's a solidarity for women throughout the ages. One of our ladies was in her 60s, all the way down to late teenagers. You can be mums, sisters, fiancées, wives. And it's just a way for the girls to get together, to be themselves, regardless of whether the husband's, partner's, dependents are home or not. And the solidarity and companionship they get from that is twofold, especially when they're new in base, which has happened recently. A lot of the girls, because of my job working in welfare, I encourage the new wives to come to the choir, and they've met lots of nice new friends.
How many members have you got now?
I believe at the moment it's about 37.
And it was, 27 who actually appeared on the song?
I think it was about 27, roughly, yes.
What an amazing contribution, and to be part of something that big. Were you singing with other choirs at the time, I guess?
Yes, there was. There was about 5 choirs there, including us. We all got there, we started, and it took us approximately 2 hours up in Birmingham. We all left about 11 o'clock from Cottesmore. I was driving the minibus, and another one of the wives was driving the other minibus. So, yeah, that was a trial in itself, just getting through Birmingham on that Sunday. But we all got there and home safe and sound, and we had a fantastic day.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
My name is Jamie Hassel, and I am the photo of December.
My name is Matthew Musgrave, and I did the photo for June.
My name's Tony Cliff, and I did the photograph for April.
Now, obviously, you all take photos. I mean, for instance, yours, Jamie, at Rutland Water just there. It's a place that a lot of photographers congregate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely venue, obviously iconic for Rutland, and it's a place where a lot of people gather and actually spend a lot of time at weekends and in the evenings, obviously watching the sun go down.
And looking at your photo, how did you achieve that kind of craze of stars, almost like a web of stars?
It was on a clear night when the stars were showing good, if you like, low cloud. It was a stack of images of 112 to capture the motion of the stars making the circle. And on a rare occasion as well, the Northern Lights was actually showing, which I was glad to capture within the photograph.
It gives a real glow to it, doesn't it?
Lovely, yeah.
Matt, let's talk about your photo, which you took from above. I mean, aerial photography.
Yeah, I mean, I've been interested in it for about 3 years now, so I like to get out and about around the area, and it gives a different aspect, a different perspective on the local area for different people. So,
can you say how you achieved it at this stage?
No.
But you will be able to in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure I will, yeah.
And Tony, you were saying to me earlier that what you actually saw on that day when you took that photo, you'd never seen before.
That's absolutely correct. I'd seen pictures of Montmartre's cloud, but never seen one in real life. And I'd flown for many, many years, and we were driving along in a van and just near Rutland Water, and I asked the driver to pull over, and I got my camera out, and off we went. And it's pretty good.
Now, Julian, I wonder whether I could just talk to you for a second.
Yeah,
you use
sure.
the services here at the Rutland Rotaract Family Support Centre. Tell us what it does for you and your family.
Well, it's difficult when you're first told that your child has got special needs. And it can put a strain on the whole family, not just between the parents, but also for the siblings of your child. So having a place to go where you can talk to other families, where you feel safe and supported, but also to get involved in a number of group activities. My son learned to swim with this organisation, to ride, but also to go on trips to different to zoos and different cities, and also for the siblings to talk to other children in similar situations. And it's a real wrap-round care for the whole family, and really been a truly fantastic experience living in Rutland with a child with special needs, having this support here.
Now, obviously, like any organisation, it needs money to actually function, to pay for the things that actually it offers. We're hoping to raise several hundred with the Sky Calendar. What sort of difference will that make?
Well, it makes a huge difference, and we greatly appreciate all the support from Rutland Radio and the advertising and the great work and beautiful pictures in the calendar. Really awe-inspiring place to live, and it's really reflected in the calendar. The difference is that it gives opportunities to lots more children and families to access these types of services, which are important for bringing families together, but also to start to build independent living skills and improve the confidence of children, such as my son.
And it really does make a difference, doesn't it? Just hearing it just now, they're just having a great time. Everyone's having a great time together, I suppose that's what it's about.
Fantastic, yes, it really is, and everyone's getting excited because apparently Santa Claus isn't far away, and maybe if you listen really carefully you might be able to hear some bells.
Rutland Radio.
Our big project was to collect 200 shoeboxes for the elderly and dementia patients this year, so we've been collecting gifts, and a few companies in the area, they've been really generous as well. Knit and Natter, for one, they've donated 124 Twiddermus, which is absolutely fantastic. We've also supported the Christmas market this year as well, so yeah, it's been a really busy time.
And the brownies as well. I know we had that check presentation, the Oakham brownies on Monday night.
Yeah, it's just to help them to do up their hall, because they need it repainting, and also the outside as well. And they do a lot of projects as well, so it was great. And they was overwhelmed as well, like really shocked by it. So it was absolutely brilliant, yeah.
And tell us what's been happening here today at the Rutland Care Village at Brambles.
Today we had Scallywags preschool come along and sing some carols for us. Also we gave out presents to all the elderly patients here in the care home, and they seemed very happy with all their gifts, so it's brilliant. And we walked all the way from store with trolleys, so people might have seen us walking through the town as well.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
June.
And tell us about Christmas here at the Rutland Care Village. You've had quite a few visitors, haven't you, singing carols?
Yes, we have. We've had quite a few coming, and it's lovely to see the kids there. Absolutely delightful. Yeah, that cheers us all up, I'm sure. I'm a Stamford person, and I've never been to Oakham before in my life, but I've had a look round now, and it's almost as nice as Stamford, but not quite.
Will you be here for Christmas as well?
Oh, well, I'm going to my sister's for Christmas Day, and my other sister for Boxing Day, which is in Kettering, so I've got the 2 days off. But there's many people who won't be going away for Christmas, but the staff are making it look lovely for them, which is so nice.
It certainly feels very festive, just even walking in.
It is festive, isn't it? The staff, they always do a wonderful job, which is fantastic.
Now then, what's your name?
George Cooper.
George. Now then, what would you like for Christmas?
Lego.
And tell us about some of the songs you've been singing today. Do you remember any of them? What about the one with Santa? He got stuck somewhere, didn't he? Where was that? In the chimney. How old are you? 4.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Jonathan Young, Rutland Water Park.
And tell us about Rutland Water. I mean, it's so much a part of local life here, isn't it?
Very much so. We like to think that we've got something for everyone, whether you're local to Oakham and Rutland or whether you're from further afield.
Best visitor attraction in our Star Awards. Tell us about that and what it means to you.
It means a great deal. We all work tirelessly here around the clock to make sure that there's an attraction for a range of people, no matter what the age. And this time of year, even when it's quieter for us, we're still trying to make sure that we do all we can to keep people happy.
And so many people do use it.
Yeah, we expect to see in the region of 1 million visitors per year, and it's a huge number, but when you spread that out throughout the year, we see most of them during a 6-week period over the summer, but then the footfall through the rest of the year is slightly quieter.
I guess it becomes more kind of local then, really.
Very much so. Lots of ramblers and walkers and dog walkers and things, but during December we've got our Santa's Grotto going on at Whitwell at the moment every Sunday, so if you're interested in that and you've got some young ones who might enjoy that, then get involved. We've got a concert at the church on Friday night with Steve Bean, a local classical guitarist, and that's a sellout with just over 80 people. So, as I said, there's always something no matter what the season.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Thank you, the people of Oakham. This is Adam Lowe, the Mayor of Oakham, over at the Christmas tree, which is in front of the old Voujon. So, I'm going to hand over to two people who are going to actually announce it open, and I'd like to welcome Paul Hughes, who's Mr. British Empire Leicester, and the High Sheriff, Dr. Sarah Finesse. Sarah's going to say a few words, then we're going to go for a huge crowd participation, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Adam. It's wonderful to see everyone here. I think there must be 5,000 people in Oakham. It's completely Rutland Central, I think, tonight. Great excitement. There are bubbles, there are lights, all sorts of things. Lots of music. The smell of mulled wine is very enticing, but I must be very careful as I've got to drive later. And I'm really looking forward to switching on the lights.
So Paul's going to start off from a countdown of 10, okay? Paul, over to you.
Okay, all together now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go! Yay!
Thank you very much to Rutland Radio, especially for supporting the event, the High Sheriff and Mr. British Empire Leicester. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam, and thanks for all your efforts with the Christmas tree as always. I have to say it's one of the best.
Thank you, Rob. Well, it is partly down to the Town Council, but without the input from the people of Oakham, with Paul who's championing their cause and their voice, it wouldn't have happened like it did tonight. So this is for the people of Oakham. They wanted it, and we gave them what they wanted, so thank you to them.
Paul, let's just talk about tree decorating, which happened yesterday, didn't it? Yesterday morning.
Early in the morning, about 10 a.m.
That is quite early for a Sunday, isn't it, really? So tell us about some of the decorations then. You know, this is about the community getting behind the project, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got some baubles on here that have been decorated by the public, where they've left positive messages. We've got some around here as well that have got all messages, all names on, and that it's just brought everybody together.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
Victoria Banfield, I'm the proprietor of the Little Lane Nursery.
Tell us what you're doing this week and why.
This week's really important. We're fundraising for a family that attend the Little Lane Nursery. Noah, their youngest, who's 2, attends nursery here full time. Mum and Dad are both self-employed, and in July this year, Mum was diagnosed with breast cancer. So since then, she's had a double mastectomy, which obviously has been quite tough on the family, emotionally and also financially, as they are both self-employed. So like most of us, probably if anything awful was to happen, it does leave them in a tricky situation. We approached the family and asked if we could do some fundraising for them, really. It's a family close to our heart, and seeing how they've been so strong and stoical throughout the whole process, that I just thought, with 4 children, it was just their time to remember 2016 for a better reason than having dealt with this awful cancer. It's quite nice as well because Jo is in hospital again. She's had an infection sort of as a result of the chemotherapy and her immune system being quite bad. So Friday, hopefully if she's feeling better, it would be so nice to be able to say, this is what we've raised for you collectively as a community, and have an amazing Christmas.
Now, it started this week, you know, with selling cakes right outside the door here. And you know, there's been a dressing up party, and then the finale is Friday.
Yeah, we've got our raffle on Friday, so the girls all over the weekend baked cakes. We're quite lucky that we've got quite a few good cake makers in our midst, and we raised over £200 just through a morning's cake sale. So, you know, thank you to the people of Stamford that stopped by and picked up a nice slab of chocolate cake.
And then anyone who goes here, I guess, has been buying raffle tickets right the way through the week.
Yeah, the support has been phenomenal. The parents have been donating on the Just Giving page. They've been donating through the cake sale, through the raffle tickets. We sent home families with books of 5 raffle tickets, and more often than not, they were coming back all fully sold. And we can't thank the families and their friends and family for supporting this cause, and for the local businesses that have offered such fantastic prizes to make it a really good raffle.
So when will we find out then what the Price family are going to receive?
So the draw is at 3:30 on Friday, and I should be able to say just after that what we've raised for the family. As it stands, they're planning on going to Centre Parks for a long weekend. They got some support from another cancer charity, so it would be nice to sort of send them off on their mini break, you know, knowing that Christmas is well and truly covered this year.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
Amy Roberts, Freshworld Refrigeration.
So tell us what you do first off.
We hire out fridge trailers to event companies, marquee companies, and anybody else that needs a refrigeration hire.
And tell us about the award here. Obviously, all our awards are voted for by customers, but, you know, best customer service.
Yeah, very privileged. We've only been going a year, so to get a customer service award is fantastic for us. We do thrive on, you know, to give the best customer service we can. So it's fantastic. So thank you to everybody that did vote for us.
Rutland Radio.
My name's Victoria Pickwell, and I'm the owner of Hungry Birds.
Tell us how long you've been going.
I've been going for just over 3 years now, since I've had the lease.
And you've obviously won Best Food and Drink here of our Star Awards. Tell us what it means to you receiving that award.
It means a lot because obviously I've got all my staff who are absolutely amazing. It's like a big family. I've always wanted to do this since I was like 14. I wanted my own coffee shop, so it's brilliant that it's all worked out and I've won this award.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Thank you, David. Well, it's the first time actually that Santa Fun Run has had a dog competition. I'm here with entry number 382. Can I have your name?
Michelle Stowe.
Now, Michelle, tell us about your dogs here. 2 for the price of 1 actually in the competition today.
Little white one is Max, he's a Lazarcross, and the other one is Archie, who's a Sheltie.
And actually our weekend survey is all about would you buy your pets a Christmas present. It looks as though they've already got theirs.
Yes, they got loads.
How do they open it?
They rip the paper off.
I suppose they do, actually.
If it's food in it, they'll rip the paper off.
So you're running the run as well today?
Yes.
Doing it for charity or because it's just a good fun day out?
Because it's just a fun day out, but we've bought the raffle tickets and there's a group of us doing it actually, so yeah.
It's just the most wonderful surroundings. Look at
great.
the weather today as well.
A bit wet, but underfoot, but it's fine.
Michelle, thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio.
Thank you.
Rutland Radio.
Thank you, David. Well, lots of teams entering today here at the Stanford Santa Fun Run for various different causes. I'm here with Val Millward from Rutland Saleability. Your first time doing this?
My first time, yes. As an amputee, walking isn't my usual thing.
No, well, that's the thing, isn't it? So many people can get involved, you know, whether they do have problems walking, whether they're athletes and they want to whiz around, you know, it really is for everyone, isn't it?
And, of course, we've got Judy in her wheelchair as well. She's left her boat behind and brought the wheelchair with her.
And tell us about Rutland Saleability and what it does for you, because, you know, we hear from so many people, you know, just how it sets them free on the water, really.
That's exactly what it does, particularly for people like Judy, because she's tied to her wheelchair most of the time, but when she's in a boat, she's free, she's doing her own thing, and being on the water is so relaxing and therapeutic.
Well, have a good time round the course today. Val, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
Did I hear that was £1.80? Not meaning to overhear, but we're from Rutland Radio, and it's our 18th birthday today, so we're actually paying people's bills. So put your money away, if that's okay with you, and we'll get it for you.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Thank you very much, young man.
Absolute pleasure. Can I take your name as well?
Yeah, Ivan Smith.
Lovely,
yeah,
Ivan.
local lad. Keep it going, we'll listen to you.
Thank you.
Keep the music going.
Thank you very much. So we've been to Curtis Bakery in Oakham and earlier on Nelson's Butchers in Oakham as well, as we continue to pay people's bills as this one's on us for our 18th birthday. 8:37, madam, put your purse away because we're Rutland Radio. We're celebrating 18 years of being on air in Stamford and Rutland, and this one's on us.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Look, there's Rob Wagstaff just handing over the money, so you don't need to worry about it at all. Basically, it's our birthday, and we're sharing our birthday money with our listeners. So
Thank you very much. Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Can I have your name as well, please?
My name's Laura Flanagan.
Laura, thank you very much for joining us and helping us celebrate today.
Thank you.
£2.5, Mr. Wagstaff as well. You okay? Yeah. So yes, it's our 18th birthday. Can I ask your name?
My name's Chloe. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much, Chloe. Spreading our birthday cheer today for 18 years here.
Very nice.
So what have we just paid for? I'm not entirely sure.
I've just ordered a peppermint tea.
That sounds nice.
Ah, well, thank you for paying for my drink. It's very kind of you.
This one's on us, as we're saying, all day today, and here we are in Costa, in Oakham. We're in Stamford later, of course, as well.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
So we're here with Esther at Wilco's in Oakham.
That's all right, we'll get this one for you. We're from Rutland Radio. My name's Lydia, and this is Dr.
Hello.
Oh my goodness me, I'm going to be famous at long last.
You're going to be famous, and yes, it's our 18th birthday today.
Well, happy birthday to you all. Thank you. So what we're doing is we're going around and paying people's bills, so we'll have this one for you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Happy Christmas to you guys as well.
How much is it, please? £15.35.
Rutland Radio.
Can I just get your name to start with?
Matthew Thompson.
We're in Leeson's here today. We're celebrating our 18th birthday. We've got a wad of cash, and we're paying as many people's bills as possible. Well, we paid about half of yours. We did all right there, didn't we?
Yeah, very well. Nice surprise coming in, yeah.
And whereabouts is your bumper bounty of meat going? Is this for a pub?
It's going to the Five Horseshoes at Barham, the other side of Stamford.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And you come into Oakham to get your meat?
Get the meat from Steve here at Leeson's, yeah. Yeah, he's always looked after me, so all the meat we get for the pub comes from here.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Rutland Radio.
This is Rutland Radio.
Hello, it's Father Christmas here. Actually, it's not really. It's the guy who used to do 10:30 on a weekday morning. You probably don't remember me. Graham Wright, early days of Rutland Radio. Was it really 18 years ago that we launched the station? Many happy returns, Rutland Radio. Oh, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Hello, I'm Richard Harding. You may not remember me, but you may do, and I'm now working in a little island called Guernsey in the middle of the English Channel at a place called Island FM. But I have very, very happy memories of Rutland Radio, and a big happy birthday and congratulations to the station. Here's to the next 18 and many, many more. À la prochaine.
Rutland Radio.
Well, first of all, tell us what you're performing and where.
Okay, we're performing Cinderella at Stamford Corn Exchange Theatre. It's on Saturday the 17th of December.
Now, you've got 3 performances in a day. Now, that's pretty rare, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. It was just I wanted to sort of like give my cast as much experience and enjoyment of the show. So, yeah, I thought we'd give it a go doing 3 in one day, yes.
And obviously there's a lot of pantos around this time of year. There's actually 3 in Stamford, including yours, that I can think of. So tell us, what makes yours special?
Well, I just feel like pantomime sort of like before Christmas just puts you in the Christmas spirit, have some enjoyment and forget sort of like reality, really.
Now, this is a local production, isn't it? So any names that people may know that may be actually on stage?
Yeah, I've got some people that normally do sort of like Gilbert and Sullivan. I've got like Margaret Wainwright and Ken Wainwright, Lawrence Lewis. I've got Melody Parker playing Cinderella, Jack Booth playing Buttons. I've got just a nice sized cast, really.
And how much are tickets? And I guess there's still some available for Saturday, are there?
Yes, there are still some available. Children are £7.50, concessions are £8, and adults are £8.50.
So that's Cinderella at Stamford Corn Exchange on Saturday. Just remind us of the show times.
Right, we've got an 11 o'clock show, a 1:30 show, and a 4 o'clock show.
Karen Parker, thank you very much for joining us on Rutland Radio, and have a brilliant day on Saturday, and enjoy relaxing afterwards if you can.
Thanks so much, Rob. Thank you.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
I'm Sheila Saunders.
And Jill Coleman.
David Lewis.
And tell us about the shop here. How long was Barradon Wakeley without a shop?
It was without a shop since about 2002, and we did a parish plan, which came out in 2005, and we had nearly 200 people who said, please restore the heart of the village, find some way to get a village shop. And so in 2005, we started a group of volunteers in the village, and we ended up, after lots of hard work, with a shop opening in 2009.
And it's all purpose-built as well, wasn't it?
Oh, very much so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a modular building because that means if it fails, we can take it away.
But it's showing no signs of that, quite the opposite.
No, we've been going now for 7 years, and yes, we're doing really well.
Now, David, you manage the shop with how many volunteers?
Between 35 and 40 volunteers, plus a few extra volunteers who do the gardening and various jobs around the shop. Yeah.
And tell us about receiving this award today. This was all voted for by people who clearly love what you do, and the most number of votes was for this shop.
Oh, it's thrilled to bits, because it has become really much a social centre for the village. And so many people come not from only our village, but from neighbouring villages, because we're one of the few villages in this part of Rutland that's got a community shop. So we have volunteers actually from South Luffinham, and lots of customers from Rockingham, Haringworth, Wakeley, all sorts of places that come, because it's easy to park, lovely staff, willing to chat. We can have a coffee and a cake as well, or a bowl of soup. And so it serves a lot of purposes. And some of our lonely people in the village come every day to collect their paper or their newspaper or milk or whatever, because there's always somebody who will listen to them. And it's their social outing for the day, which is very important. Yeah.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Miranda Amy's from Ryle Post Office and Village Doors.
And here we are presenting the Star Award. Now, this has been quite a turbulent few weeks for you, hasn't it, since actually we announced you're a winner?
Yes, it's been awful. Yeah, we've had a ram raid on the shop, and we're now in the process of getting everything rebuilt and put back together. So, yeah, we're okay, though. We're fine.
There hasn't been a single day that you haven't been open, though, this whole time.
No, we opened on the actual day, serving newspapers from the kitchen door, and then we opened the actual shop in the afternoon. So, yeah, we've kept going.
And what does it mean to you, aside from that, actually, that your customers actually have awarded you this, the most votes for Village Shop and Post Office?
Absolutely astonished, really, and really thrilled to bits. Obviously, you know, we wouldn't be the best Village Shop and Post Office without the customers. They're what matter.
How do you enjoy doing this?
I love it. Yeah, it's the best job I've ever had. I've worked all over the place and always wanted to run my own business. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. And the ram raid definitely won't stop us. And getting this award has made it even more rewarding. So, thank you very much.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Of course, back in the day, Saturday afternoon between 2 and 6 meant only 2 people.
It was me, Richard Harding, and...
Hugh Williams.
Yes, indeed. 3 Hugh.
How many, Richard?
3.
How many is a hat-trick again?
How many goals is a hat-trick? 3. And, of course, who can forget Christmas at the Williams family? We did a special Christmas show live from the Williams. The Williams family Christmas.
And who dropped the turkey?
I dropped the turkey and it ended up on my foot.
Who fused the light bulbs?
And fused the light bulbs. The terrible things that used to happen.
And how could you get injured warming up, or even running down for a single in cricket, waving your arms like an octopus,
I know,
and had to be medically attended to because of your injury?
This is Rutland Radio.
I'm Judith Mackey and I'm the General Manager at the Corn Exchange Theatre Company.
And tell us about Stamford Corn Exchange. It's gone through a rebirth. I mean, it's been here for years, but it all came back together just a few years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2007, Christmas 2007, we opened a new theatre upstairs, and since then we've been running a full-time programme of entertainment week in, week out.
It's quite a job, isn't it, in theatre, to actually balance the books, to get that good variety of shows as well?
It is. I mean, our main aim was to find something for everybody. The programming is quite unique, really. We are not like some theatres that have a set sort of genre of programming. It's very diverse here.
And tell us about the award, Best Entertainment Venue.
Wow, that means so much to us. I mean, it's not just the shows we put on. We have lots of dance schools that come in and the rehearsals. There's an awful lot to what we do. It's not just the shows that you see advertised. There's lots of community groups that come here, lots of schools. It's amazing the different things that we actually put on. So it means so much to us that people do appreciate what we do. It's run by volunteers. We do struggle to get enough volunteers to help us. Anybody wanting to help is very welcome to come along and join our team.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week. I'm here with Beryl Kirtland at Carl's Good Causes shop at St John's Church in Stamford, literally after this very busy 10 weeks. And what a season it's been for you this year, actually, and what a milestone it's been.
It's been another excellent year. We're going to have another best year ever.
and it is just fantastic, amazing, absolutely great.
Tell us about the milestone that you've just passed.
I've managed the card shop for 16 years, and in those 16 years we have put £1 million through the till whilst we've been here. So that's £1 million through the till.
And very nearly 3/4 of that is going back to the good causes that you support, so many of them over the years.
Absolutely. We've grown it over the years, of course, but this year we've had 45 charities in and all of our goods and over 20,000 people through the door.
How does it make you feel that this in Little Stamford is actually punching so much above its weight?
I'm proud. I'm proud of what we've done, what we've achieved, the charities we've supported, the volunteers that come to help me, the customers that come in to shop, what it brings to Stamford, the pleasure it brings to people, the good it does for the church. Everything that's a feel-good factor, it happens in here. It's fantastic.
What about Christmas as far as you're concerned? I mean, I suppose, does Christmas begin now, or have you actually been preparing for it?
Well, I think I could lie down in a darkened room at this point, but no, I've been very fortunate this year. My husband and myself, we've been invited to our sons. So stock taking tomorrow, clearing the church the next day, dealing with the residual stock, getting that back to the warehouse. And we can think about Christmas then.
And then all happens again next October.
And next October, guess what? We'll be doing it all over again and looking forward to it. I love it.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio Podcast.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Gregg. I'm Arcala of a new cub group, which is Pillarwood Cubs in Firstbourne.
Tell us about tonight. I mean, we can hear the buzz of this lot here. About how many are here?
I think there are about 250 cubs, and then we've got about 100 guests and parents supporting us. We're obviously here to celebrate 100 years of cubs.
Which is incredible, isn't it? It really is. I mean, obviously, you know, those who have just joined it won't have any idea what that means.
No, it doesn't. But one of the things that we do teach them as they join is about Baden-Powell and what he did, what he set off, and the ideas that he put in motion to keep the Scout Association going.
So you've set up a new division, so obviously it's still popular.
We couldn't get our cubs in, and we've started a new pack to try and take a dent in the waiting list, and it's still a huge waiting list for people wanting to join.
How wonderful is that? So tell us about actually what happened here this evening.
So what we've done so far is we have looked at how Cub Scouts were formed. We've looked a little bit at what Baden-Powell set up and why he set it up. Then it's been really important to show Cubs how things have changed. We've got a uniform from 100 years ago, looking at the badges and what the ideals were then, looking at the promise they said, and then comparing it with what we've got now.
And is the promise vastly different then to how it was?
No, there's a great deal that's still the same. Bobby Job's gone, Dib 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 tends to have gone, but an awful lot of what was set up is still exactly as it was 100 years ago.
What about the transformation actually that children undergo when they join this and when they leave?
It's all about confidence. It's giving them the ability to explore new ideas, but it gives them a great confidence. They join Cub Scouts from Beavers, new, fresh, still quite needy, but hopefully when they leave 2.5, 3 years later, they are young people who are able to achieve an awful lot more on their own, and they also learn how to work together as a team, and that's really important.
Was it just South Lincolnshire that were together tonight?
This is the Stamford and District Bourne group. So we go everywhere from Wittering, Market Deeping, up to Billingborough and Horbling and through to Bourne. So I believe it covers 4 counties in all of that, and Ketton out to the southeast as well. So, yeah, there's quite a few of us, but it's only our group. Each district is doing something different tonight.
Tell us what happened. I mean, there were 2 on stage, weren't there, earlier on, that actually led the promise?
So those 2 are from Corby Glen. We've got Jake Miscully, who was the cub that was saying the promise from 100 years ago, and we've got Cara, who was saying the promise from now. And the idea was that, say, they gave the cubs something to look at.
And have you anything else to add about the celebration tonight? I mean, all I have to do really is actually point the microphone that way, don't I, as to the buzz of the whole thing?
No, it's been great. It's been lovely to see all the cubs together. They've been excited to see each other. Obviously, my cubs, first time they've done a district event, which is great. And it's nice to get everybody together to say thank you for what Cubs has done, for what the Scout Association's done. And the second half is all about thanking the leaders for what they've done. So all the groups have made their own video in their own way to say thank you to the leaders that turn out every week, come rain or shine.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
As you've probably heard on Rutland Radio, Christmas Bells is back on Fife Close in Stamford. This is the brainchild of Mick and Carol Bell. Now I'm here with Mick Bell. I know we've spoken before, but how many years have you been doing this now?
It's around about 30 years.
And this year, I mean, I don't remember the pink castle. I don't remember the star on the top of the aerial there.
Yeah, it changes every year. The house has been here before, but it got painted pink this year instead. So I just have to make changes as the lights change. I made a few amendments. Got a few lights on the roof this year, which I tried last year, but they failed, unfortunately.
They failed?
Water problems.
Oh,
you know,
well, yeah.
Doesn't go well with electric.
No, I guess it doesn't, no. You always have a different good cause each year as well.
Yes, yeah, this year we've chosen Route for Riley for a 14-year-old lad that's been disabled through a seizure and he's got to rehabilitate.
And here tonight, there's people from the whole neighbourhood really?
I started doing it a few years ago. I thought I'd invite the neighbours around basically because they put up with all these people coming in the close and driving around.
Yeah.
I had a few of my own friends and general friends that we know ourselves and it's just grown a bit as usual and now we have a burger van instead of cooking it on the barbecue.
How long does this take to put up and take down each time?
This year it took me probably about 6 days in total. So I start first week in November normally and then do the weekends and then finish it off so that we can put it on end of November, early December, whichever way it falls.
And then it goes through to 12th night?
Yeah, and then leave it on for 12 nights after Christmas.
It is really quite amazing. I wonder whether I can speak to these smaller people here. Now, will you talk to Rutland Radio and tell me which is your favourite bit of this?
Can't choose, I would say the roof. The bit where the foam comes out of.
Snow machine.
Yes. And what's your favourite?
All of it.
And what are your names? Who have I been talking to?
My name's Josh. Fred. And my brother's is called Isaac.
So what's your name?
Jake.
What do you really like the most about this?
The snow machine.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
PC Joe Lloyd from Rutland Police is with us this morning. Working over Christmas?
Not too bad. No, I'm not all over Christmas. Boxing Day I'm back, so I've got Christmas Day off, which is nice.
Fabulous. I'm off on Boxing Day, so we'll meet each other kind of somewhere, ships in the night and all that.
Most probably.
Shed break-ins.
Yeah, I've just asked to come in today because we've had a couple of shed breaks in the last couple of weeks. In Oakham, obviously the build-up to Christmas, people are maybe storing presents, bikes particularly, in their sheds. It's just about thinking about locking those sheds, and making sure that they are locked at night time and they're not just left open, which is really important.
Now, obviously, some sheds have windows. I used to actually have a shed as a bit of a den when I was growing up, and I had curtains, which obviously would have protected people, sights and things. But someone still broke in. I mean, they I suppose they're easy things to get into.
They are, yeah. And let's be honest. Someone who wants to break in will always, manage to get in. It's just about putting that extra sort of level of protection in because, let's be honest, a lot of us, me included sometimes, leave our sheds open. And actually we don't realise the value of what we've got in our sheds. Lawnmowers, other gardening implements. Actually, it all tots up to be quite a lot of money. So, but all I'm just sort of saying is put a padlock on it. And at least then, if someone's going to come and try different sheds, they're going to look at yours and say, no, there's a lock on there. I may as well go and look for one that hasn't got a lock.
And general security advice for Christmas, obviously, if you're heading away, make it look as though you're not.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Don't close all the curtains and leave all the lights off. Time a switch. Will's still down at the council. We've got some down there as well, things like that. Absolutely, leave some lights on. Obviously, I don't suggest necessarily leaving your Christmas lights on because sometimes they can go up.
I know. See, I think they'll be safe, but you just never know, do you?
No,
I'd say a normal light. Yeah,
I'd say just a normal light. So on the land, just something, and all the curtains closed is a bit of a giveaway that there's nobody there, and if it's in darkness, so we always ask that people just leave some kind of light on, particularly in the evening and in the night time.
And if you'd like more help and advice from the police, the front inquiry office is at Rutland County Council till 3:30 today.
It is, yeah. Will be down there. Just to say, from us, Oakham Police and actually Rutland Police, we hope everyone has a lovely Christmas and a peaceful New Year.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. radio.co.uk.